As you join us today, we encourage you to reflect on the land that you're on and its history. We're located on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee.
The territory is within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon, One Pen Belt Covenant and is home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We are grateful to work on this land.
Hi, my name is Peter Knatt, and I am here for the press conference for Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over, and I am incredibly honored to be joined virtually here with the legend that is Ms Warwick and filmmakers Dave Wooley and David Heilbroner. Welcome. It's such an honor, Ms Warwick, and I love the film. I watched it a couple days ago. I mean, there's some stuff in there that I already knew, but there was some stuff I didn't. You're just truly an inspiration, and thank you so much, Dave and David, for making this wonderful film.
Thank you so very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it and learned something about that.
And also, yesterday you were given a big honor here in Toronto. You got a special tribute award. I was just wondering what your time so far in the city's been like and what that tribute was like.
It's, well, first of all, very unexpected and very much appreciated. The city has changed quite a bit. I've been coming to Toronto for more years than you're old, okay? But it's been wonderful coming back and had an opportunity to see friends that I've known for years here. So everything has been absolutely perfect. And the film festival stuff has really treated me exceptionally nice and well.
That's great. And then before we get to some questions from the press, I just wondered, how did the three of you come together for this project and sort of what your relationship has been like during this process?
Okay. Dave Warwick has been a business partner of mine for many, many years. And he kind of took me into this documentary. And I said, okay, and go and see what you got to do to get it done. And from that, I'm going to get it to him.
Hello, and thank you for having us. It's a pleasure being here. The journey has been 5 years, and I'm told in the doc world it's actually pretty quick to get a documentary, especially of this magnitude. So initially, I had the vision based on the fact that we worked on a Dionne book together, she and I, My Life as I See It. So 5 years ago, we were a producing partner, a co-director, and David was the first name on the list. So I gave him a call and he immediately said,
man, you gotta be kidding, this is an honor. And what really sealed the deal for me, because I come from a doing civil rights, change the world kind of background, is when Dave really told me a lot more about Dionne than really the world tends to know. What a humanitarian she's been, what a selfless supporter of causes. And I fell in love with the story, and I'm honored to be on this journey with these amazing people.
Well, we have a question from ADN radio station. And the question is, what has been the biggest challenge during the making of this documentary? I mean, that gets to be for any of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Oh, the question is from ADN Radio, and the question is, what has been the biggest challenge for any of you during the making of this documentary?
During the making of it, I didn't find it to be a challenge, because I got to know me.
Yeah, for me, for sure, the challenge was visually living up to the visual legacies that Dionne has left. And when I say that, she has exemplified not just musical beauty, but there's been a visual, physical component to her presence as an entertainer. The way she dresses, the way she carries herself, the sets that she appeared on. And, as a filmmaker, you have to be mindful of reflecting that in the work. So we spent a great deal of time building a soundstage, designing it as a sort of a historical sort of aspect to it, and trying to capture that elegance. And that was no easy thing. It took a lot of work, and I'm really proud of how it came out. But that to me was the big challenge of making the film.
And I wanted to make, as a director and filmmaker, a film that was emblematic of Dionne's legacy and something that will be around forever and ever and ever. So there's about 10 documentaries in Dionne Warwick. I just want to let you know. We just haven't only made one. So that was the biggest challenge for me. It's like, dot, There's a lot of dots after that. So this is just one. But there's more to come.
I mean, all the dots did really connect. It's a really wonderful film, and you guys should all be really proud. One thing that really struck me was that I didn't know about your AIDS humanitarian work, Ms. Warwick. I knew a little bit, but you really did change a lot of lives and raise so much money, and it was a really powerful element of the documentary that really came across strongly. Maybe the filmmakers can talk a little bit about sort of how that became a part of it and why that was so important to include in such a significant way.
Well, being appointed the ambassador felt by President Reagan at the point in time, I took very seriously. And also, I became very concerned over the fact that we were losing so many people within my industry. There was lighting people, sound people, hair, dancers, makeup. It was just going on and on and on. And kind of had to disprove the ominous misconception that it was a gay white male disease. It became apparent that it didn't stop it with gay white male. It went on women, children, and all races, colors, creeds, and religions. So I, being the nosy person that I am, I wanted to know what was going on and took the time to find out. That's the humanity side of being a human being and caring about others. That's how it all began. That's how I kind of let my peers know, we gotta do something about this. We're losing folks that mean an awful lot to us and do a lot for us. And they all kind of figured it out. Yeah, okay, let's get aboard this thing and get this thing done.
Well, that's great. And we have another question. This time it's from Music Movies Thoughts. The question is for Ms. Warwick. Have you ever considered that That's What Friends Are For remake? And who would you choose to perform with in 2021?
Yeah, I've been asked that question several times. In fact, MFAR even asked if I thought about updating it with other people. It would be something to think about, yes, and I haven't thought about who it would be. It would have to be people who have some knowledge of what the AIDS crisis was and is, and the selflessness of those particular people. You have to find, folks that really genuinely care and are not interested in the name on a piece of paper.
Fair enough. Also, I'm curious about, you have so many people are involved in this film, like from President Bill Clinton to Alicia Keys. It's just like an incredible breadth of people that are sort of singing your praises through this film. I wanted to know a little bit about, how you got all these people together and what it was like for you, Ms. Warwick, to hear these incredible words of praise from, everyone from a president to your colleagues to Snoop Dogg.
Hearing the comments was quite heartwarming. But getting now back together, we're going to speak to these two about that.
Well, for me,
Well, I was just going to set you up. Because when Dave called me up, I said, well, great, I'm really excited about doing this documentary. Who can you get we could talk about Dionne? He just said to me, he said, I can get anybody. And I was like, oh no, like this is never gonna work out. And he did. He's all of a sudden Stevie Wonder is in, the studio, Snoop, Bill Clinton. And so Dave, the reason you could get everybody is?
I've been in the entertainment industry for over 30 years now. So prior to becoming a filmmaker, I was a producer, I was a musician. So I got into filmmaking from a career prior to it. So I had many of those relationships, but the real reason is that, the subject matter, it was an easy sell to say I'm producing and co-directing a film on Dionne Warwick. We want to be in it. It's like when and where. So I was very fortunate to get all of the A-listers on our short list, and everybody said yes. I read a review this morning that said this has to be the only documentary in history to have a President Clinton and a Snoop Dogg in the same documentary. That has never happened in history of documentary films. I never looked at it when we put it together. But it was a pleasure, and I want to thank all of those folks that participated in this film and say thank you because they gave us 100%.
And after 5 years, you said that this project sort of was in the making. I'm curious for all three of you what it was like to finally see it on a big screen and have it all come together and see all these years of work paid off. And for Ms Warwick, just to see all of these wonderful people sort of saying all these lovely things about you.
It was wonderful. It brought back many, many memories. And also, I'm looking at people I haven't seen in ages. It's like I could go, there's so-and-so. I remember that, So it was wonderful to be able to remember. It's been an incredible journey. And it's still going on. So, and to know that these folks thought what they thought about me is, as I said, very heartwarming.
And it was a pleasure to finally play the film to an audience, because that's what I love about film festivals is you actually have a room full of people. It's a cinematic experience, and you could feel the room. And I've done lots of films, and you know how to feel the room. And yesterday, this beautiful hall was so filled with laughter, and the people would break out spontaneously into applause at moments when Dionne had done something memorable or inspiring. And I was just sitting there smiling, going, "This is everything we hoped for."
And for me, I had the pleasure of watching the film. On my left side was Dionne Warwick, and on my right side was my mother, who produced me, by the way. And to watch the crowd react, and watch my mother cry, it was just magical to see how all of the love that we put into making everything was received with love, and the truth was being told. It was almost like being at a concert. So I encourage everybody to go watch this, because the love that went into it, you will certainly feel it. And one thing that kind of surprised me is how much humor came across. And I had a young lady talk to me after the film, and she said, "I've never been to a film where I laughed as much as I cried." It was fun.
One thing that really blew me away about the film, one of the many things, was just all this footage that you were able to find and put in of Ms Warwick's performances from across the ages. Can you talk a bit about what that process was like to find all of that footage? Like, some of it is I was just very happy to see that it existed, and it was in such good shape too.
Credit to a young man who's no longer with us. His name is Gary Keys. You want to talk about Gary?
Yeah, Gary Keys was a very, very dear person to me. Filmmaker, archivist, activist. He was all things to all people. And he was also a producer. He produced quite a few television as well as films. And Gary documented everything. And we were fortunate enough to have been able to secure the footage that he documented on me. And I do give a lot of credit to him for keeping those kinds of memories available.
Yeah, I'm very grateful that he did, because it just made the film sparkle in such a bigger way, just to have that access to your journey like that way. We have another question from Pop Culture Planet. It's for the directors. Looking back on Dionne's life, what was the most surprising story to learn about?
No doubt Snoop Dogg. No, not even a close call on that one. I did not see this coming. I had a lot of thoughts about what the film what learning about her life story might teach me, but I never thought I'd hear Snoop Dogg say, that day we got out gangstered by Dionne Warwick. That's my memory that I'm going to keep close to my heart.
I think for me, there were so many. I think it's not one. It's like the totality of watching all of those anecdotes and all of those stories. To watch a former president of the United States sing, "Do you know the way to San Jose?" I mean, that has to be a first too. So there are a lot of firsts, and I think what also makes this film extremely special is that they're not just talking heads. I had somebody walk up to me and said, when Snoop was in the film, we just thought you put him in to help with, creating a bigger audience because of his popularity and his celebrity. And then we got to the end, and it's like, no, there's a reason why Snoop he got out gangster, Dionne stuck up, Dionne spanked him on it, Did you spank with Dionne?
That was the object of having the meeting. Dealing with a grown-up. And to respect and honor that essence. So, that's how gangster is.
Well, some people do call her a gangster.
Yeah, well, when I have to be, I am. You gotta understand, I'm from East Orange, New Jersey.
Jeremy's gonna come out in a minute.
So we have another question from the Los Angeles Sentinel. It's a big question, and I guess it's for any of you. The question is, what makes a legend in your view?
What makes a legend? People make a legend.
Oh.
That's what makes a legend. Legend is not something that I do, or either one of these young men do, or you do. People, generally, the ones that designate who and what is and will be a legend.
Did other the filmmakers feel like you gained some insight on that question while putting together a movie about?
We just got out gangster on that one. No, she's.
Yeah, we can't ask.
She's the authority.
That's yeah. You have to do what.
So we have another question from Victoria. Oscar Peterson is the subject of a TIFF film this year. Did Ms Warwick ever get a chance to know him or work with him?
And I got a chance to know him, never to work with him. It would have been my honor to work with that magnificent pianist. He was such a wonderful man. I met Oscar Peterson in England many years ago, and happened to be fortunate enough to go to a concert that he was playing. Like I said, he was just one of the gentle men that I have met in many years. And it's unfortunate that we don't have him around now to give us all that beautiful music that he was able to give.
Absolutely. I'm also curious, it's nice that this film is coming out at a time where we are able to go back to theaters again, at least in some form. I'm wondering, just for people who might be watching this and aren't in Toronto right now, what this journey for the film is next, and where people might be able to get a chance to see it in the near future.
Well, we're waiting now. Our agent, Endeavor, contacted Mrs. Web Entertainment, or entertaining and speaking to various different streaming platforms. So hopefully we'll be able to make a major announcement on where everyone will be able to see this finally. But in the interim, we want to encourage folks to vote for their favorite doc here at TIFF, and hopefully this is wonderful. But for now, the only place to see it is right here at TIFF.
And were you completing this film during COVID? Was there ever sort of a concern in terms of getting it to screen, like, that there wasn't going to be an opportunity for people to watch it at an audience? And I'm sure that it was very special and important that you got to see it with an audience here in Toronto.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm thrilled that there was an audience that was able to watch it with. So I watched it as well again, and it was thrilling to hear and feel the reaction to it. We get to the point where being children as long as I have, when they laugh in the right places, that means something. And apparently that's what's going on. And I must say, I was taken aback to hear the applause and certain things that are occurring, which meant that, hey, now they understand what the real truth is. So it's been a very exciting experience for me.
That's great. And we do have another question from eTalk. Why was Ms. Warwick so hesitant to work with Barry Gibb initially and sing the song that he wrote for her?
I wasn't hesitant to work with Barry. I knew the voice, I knew the Bee Gees. I didn't want to sing that song. I didn't want to sing San Jose either. But there, and as I said in the film, if you want to know what a hit record is, ask me, and I'll tell you, and that's usually not what a hit record can be. So, I have no criteria to think that Barry and Clive, they both badgered me. I mean, Maurice and they just kept at me, you're going to record the song. I said, okay, I'm going to record it. And I'm thanking God that I did, that I have no criteria, but they seemed to know what they were talking about.
Ms. Warwick, watching the film and knowing that audiences are going to get to see it, was there something that you really were proud of that audiences get to know about you while seeing this film? Like, was there something in particular that, when you watch, you're just like, I'm so glad that audiences are going to get to know this part of my story?
Yeah, I think more than anything else, they're getting the absolute truth. They're getting to know the real story from the real person. And that was a criteria that was put on these two men. You will tell the truth, I have nothing to hide. And I'm very proud of who I am and what I've accomplished. They brought out a lot of things that I've forgotten about, I must say that too. But I want people to understand who and what Dionne Warwick really is. Like I said, I like me. I really do. I ain't got no reason to be anybody other than me. And apparently it's been working.
A lot of other people like it too. I just want to mention you.
Absolutely. We have a question from CIT 89.5 FM Rainbow Country Radio. Anyway, the question is, as an LGBTQ activist, what would you like to say to your LGBTQ fans here in Canada, Ms. Warwick?
I think it's just a matter of what I've been saying to any of the particular organizations. Everybody's a human being, and I've got to be treated in that fashion. And I use the analogy that if I cut myself, I'd be red. You cut yourself, so do you, which means that we're all the same. As long as we treat each other like human beings and actively understand that's what we are. That's all I have to say. I have nothing more to say or nothing less.
Absolutely. We just have a couple questions, a couple minutes left. So if you have any more questions, please send them in. But in the meantime, I'm curious what all of you are working on now, or what your next projects might be, or Ms. Warwick, what you're working on, or the filmmakers, if there's something you have following up this.
Yeah, we're thinking about a full-fledged film, motion picture, and also a series of, who knows? Give me a chance to think about it.
Right now, I'm just enjoying this moment. Sometimes after 5 years of the journey, you know, you just have to stop and take it in and process it. The world moves fast enough, and right now, it's like watching your baby grow up. You know, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Right. No, there's an old expression in the Jewish communities that you don't want to get pregnant while you're breastfeeding. So I'll leave it at that.
Oh my God.
Remember that, kids. Don't try
Right.
it at home.
Don't try that.
Don't try it at home.
So we have a question from Lettres Libris magazine for Ms. Warwick. What would you tell your young version of yourself in order to avoid pain or hard times?
That is impossible. That's something I can tell my young self. It's impossible to avoid any of those. It's also life. Ups, ins, outs, downs. You know, if you're gonna live, you're gonna go through all of it.
Absolutely. And that movie absolutely shows that. And I think we have to wrap up, but I just want to thank all of you for joining me today. I want to thank you for making this wonderful film and giving us a chance to, you know, really meet Ms. Warwick in a way that we didn't before. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming to Toronto, and thanks to everyone who participated in this conversation today.
Thank you, darling, and thank you for getting it. That means an awful lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.